Okay, I've got the nuts bottomed out on the anchor points of the lower portion of the all of the cables. What I'm going to do now is fasten the upper cables. There's going to be 4 points of the leveling cables hook up, and there's going to be 1-inch cable we do too. So it's going to be a total of 5 cables that dead end. So where I'm going to start is the back, front to back member. The long fitting goes up, and you pull the bottom cable. You need a 5/8 washer up here. And this hole is going to be the hole nearest to the front of the hoist. Front to back cables up, runs through here. There's 2 holes in the top of this tube, which is in the back of the hoist. This is on the winch side, the rear. Front to back cable, long fitting, goes up, hooks to the nearest hole on the inside. You're going to want to make sure you use 5/8 washer. Want to tighten those up. When you tighten the cable up, you don't want this like a guitar string. You don't want it real loose. This isn't bad. It should be a little bit tighter. And I think what I'm going to do, as long as I'm up here, go ahead and tighten that. There we go. 9/16 opened in. That looks pretty good right there. There's another cable that fastens up there. This goes through the rear beam. And again, you can pull it up and you'll see the bottom cable kind of get sucked up over there. Make sure it's engaged or goes through the hole okay. So you need them real tight. Go over to the other side. Same thing happens over here. .5/8 washer, 5/8 lock nut. Looks like we got some geese flying over. Going the wrong way. Upper cables that fasten are back in the rear of the hoist, except for the winch cable. I'm going to get to in a minute. Looks pretty good. Lost my grip. A little loose. Good. That doesn't look too bad right there. The last cable we're going to hook up that uses the 5/8 nut and washers is through the winch, and this is a little different. I'm probably going to want to get over here on the inside maybe to get a good shot at it. The front twin beam has two cables coming out of it. The cable on the outside of the twin beam has a short fitting on it, and it's the same type of fitting that gets anchored down below, but this one goes up above. Okay, we're going to attach the cable. The cable goes through the winch and anchors at the top here. The cable that comes out of the twin beam, and it would be the cable that is on towards the outside of the hoist, coming through the beam. But before we do that, it's got to get threaded through this hole, so we're going to put the cover back on. We had the cover off to get the winch on, get the bolts in there. So we're going to put it back on, and you can see the rollers here go towards the column. You don't want to have it on this way. It won't work that way. The cable's got to get wrapped around the drum. So make sure you've got it on properly. And there's just a 1/4 inch bolt. So we're putting the bottom cover on, and we had it off to get the winch on properly. But we need the cover on before we can run the cable up. And what that is just a cable guide roller. It kind of helps keep the cable tracking back and forth. You may have Phillips screws here. We've been kind of switching back and forth different types of screws. Okay, now again, the cable coming out of the twin beam, it's on the outside of the twin beam. It's going to go through the roller opening, and it's going to go straight up. There's a hole drilled in the top of the winch for this to anchor to. We'll put a 5/8 washer and nut on top of it. You know what? When it's out like that, you kind of just get the nylon lock thread started on it. Again, you can use a 9/16 wrench. And whatever you got to tighten it up. I've got the socket. There, I've got the bolt far enough in where it's engaging the nylon. There. The next thing we're going to want to do is put the winch cable in. which again we go through the bottom, get along the other side. It really helps having a ladder, by the way. Cable comes through the bottom roller, and then there's a wedge clip in here, which it looks like I need to break that that tie off there before we go any further.